Hi, everybody, wherever you may be. My name's Larry, and my call sign is Kilo 7 Hotel November. I'd like to welcome you back to Ham Radio Live. This is episode 42. We're going to be reviewing the Heil Parametric Receive Audio System. Now, most of you folks know I was in commercial radio for a long time. I love radio. It's all I ever wanted to do. I can tell you that in radio, we always used a big button on the transmitters when we had to power down on the AM side at night. And for whatever reason, they were always big red buttons. Always were, push the big red button at legal sunset. Anyway, somehow Heil engineers have found that big red button that does all the magic to transform your radio from something that it was into something that is totally different and improved. I mean, my review of this product, let me show it to you real quick. This is the Heil Parametric Receive Audio System. It is something that Dr. Heil, I guess, spent about 2 years working on with Bell Labs. Bell Labs, well-known American company who works with hearing impaired, hearing aids. They've had tons of decades of experience with audiologists. I mean, they know what they're doing. They're like, the dictionary for hearing better. So Dr. Heil went to Bell Labs over about a 2-year period. They developed this system. They found out right in the frequency point where most humans can hear best. And it's phenomenal. I've just been blown away by this thing. I have a Yaesu 101 MP. Here it is right here. And this is right now the #1 radio on Sherwood's list. But I can tell you, it has the same speaker on the top of it that it probably had 30 years ago in the model that it had back then. You see, speakers and stuff in rigs haven't changed really. They haven't. But think of all the things that have changed. We've had digital noise reduction added. We've had software-defined radios. So many things have improved, but not the way our ham radios sound. And that's really a shame, But what Heil has done here is just phenomenal. I mean, I don't really have a whole lot of other words to use, but phenomenal. Let me just get right to the point. If you're hearing impaired, you're a ham that has some hearing issues, this is just, you've got to have this. Both of these headphone jacks are 25-watt amplified jacks. Each one has a pot to adjust the volume, okay? You've also got a record out jack. You're not going to sacrifice a headphone jack. That's well thought out. It has your high, your mid, and your low end. But look at what they did with the mid-range. They highlighted it. Not only do you have parametric control, but you also have control of the gain here as well. That is really special. It really is. Now, when you get this from Heil, it's going to end up looking just like this. In fact, what they'll do is they'll give you there'll be like a little flyer inside the box, right? And it'll say, this unit has been preset at the factory for you for optimal performance, because Heil has done all the work for you before you got here, okay? So when we're looking at this system right here, okay, and you see all these knobs and things, okay, don't be overwhelmed. You don't need to use all those knobs all the time. In fact, this is one of those unique products you can use and almost set it and forget it. I mean, unless you're working long DX and it's really out there and it's deep in the mud, which, by the way, this will help you do. You can dig it out much easier with this than you can with your digital noise reduction. That sounds strange, but because of the mid-range and the way you can adjust it, it helps phenomenally. I've tried it with and without my DNR. I've found that this system, it's just phenomenal. That's the best way I could describe it. We have had so many changes and so many improvements in radios in 30 years, but our sound is the same, but not with this. I just have found this to be a very special product. Okay. So let me get you some rig audio. And I've turned off my processing. All right. There's no compression. There's no EQ. All I have is just basically the preamp. That's what you're hearing. Okay. What you're going to hear out of this video is going to be directly from the Heil system with no noise reduction. I've got no DNR turned on my radio. There's no notch. There's no noise blanker. There's nothing. It's just the raw audio directly out of this Parametric Receive Audio System. Now, before we go any further, I want to tell you, Christmas is coming, by the way. It's October 1st. Wow. When you get this, you can see there's two pieces. And they come as a kind of like a clamshell because they're designed for each other, but they don't sell them together. They used to, but they don't any longer. You buy the EQ like what I have here, and then you can buy the speaker separately, all right? The speaker has a woofer and tweeter in it, and it's in an enclosed and tuned compartment. That enclosure is completely tuned for this system. That's amazing. I mean, and when you hear it, if you go to a ham store and they have the demo, go try it. You will be blown away at how much of a difference it makes. I'll do my best here to show it to you here, but I'm telling you, what it will do for your radio will be literally transform it into sounding like a brand new rig. It really does. Let's turn up the audio. The bands have been pretty bad. We've had some pretty rough storms and things like that lately that have just killed propagation. So I'm not 100% sure of what we're going to find, but we'll do our best. And I know what we find is going to be highly improved by this system. I see my camera's a little crooked. Don't mean for it to be. Sorry about that. All right. Try and level out the playing field for you a little bit. All right. So let's go to the rig. Let's listen, and I'll show you how it works the best I can. Again, the big red button's the mid. Again, keep in mind, there is no processing. There's no DNR here. Okay, so there's DX. There's a DX CQ. Now I'm coming, this signal's from Italy. It's coming all the way to the West Coast. Okay, so that's not Italy, that's from BY. All right, so that tells you DX, okay? You see how the signal brought up, you could bring it up with the mid-range. That's one of the beauties of the system that I found. I found it makes just DX so much easier. The other thing that I found is that my listening fatigue has stopped. I'm no longer saying, gosh, I just got to get off the radio. This really helps because it just makes your radio sound like it should have in the first place. you know? Let's listen to a few more signals. I'd like to let you know a little more about this, at least from my perspective, what I've found. And again, I bought this, all right? So I gain nothing by doing this, but I believe it helps the ham community significantly. This comes with, of course, this is all parametric. The full EQ is parametric. But the only one that has a gain control is the mid. And the reason why the mid does is because that's honestly where the voice is heard. That's the voice spectrum right there. Okay. So when you look at, the human voice, you're talking about folks. I'm going to pull the camera back just a little bit. It's having a hard time focusing on it. When you're talking about the human voice, the part that resonates really well with the hearing part of your body is the mid-range. So what Heil engineers discovered with Bell Labs was a way to try and tweak just a small portion of the mid-range, and it's made all the difference. I mean, my radio sounds phenomenally well. See, now it's out of the shot, but there it is. Okay. And it's more focused, so bear with me. I don't ever drive this hard, so the meter, I mean, it works fine. I just don't drive it real hard. I'm one of those guys in radio that learned a long time ago, keep the cans down, keep the ears long. That's the old saying in radio, keep the cans down, keep the ears long, meaning keep the volume down so you can hear longer in life. That's the whole thing. But if you have a hearing issue, again, both of these headphone jacks are independently adjustable for volume and full 25 watts out. That's pretty cool. I think that the additional recording jack there with an 1/8 inch in, that's great. If you want to record your QSOs, wow, makes it simple. And then, of course, you've got your high end right here, your low right there, and then your mid-range is very well laid out. It's pretty much, at least from what I've found, folks, right within this area between 800 hertz and 2.5 kilohertz. That's really the area where you find the sweet spot. It just works every time. This thing just works. So let's go listen to a few more audio calls and let you judge for yourself. Again, I could do compression and equalization here, but I'm not. I'm running flat because I want you to hear how good this is. Because to me, I think after you buy your antenna, your feed line, your radio, after you get your power supply, your ground put in, your wires that you need for everything, this should be the next thing you get because it will make radio good. It just does. Let's take a look and listen. And folks, if I wanted to punch some noise reduction, here's what would happen. Okay. Makes it sound different. So there's no noise reduction. There's zero.
Live now, and you will be able to listen to your station and see myself. Back to you, we'll keep in your
Every time I chase a signal, it seems like these run. It's the way it goes sometimes. Now they come bouncing everywhere. What I like about this system, what I found to be really good, has been just the ease of use. It's not something you have to tweak a lot. You don't have to. It's not something you're going to always have to be milking and messing around with and twisting. You just pretty much set it and let it go. I mean, again, there's our PY. If you wanted to just run straight up the way that Heil brings it to you, golden. You're golden. I mean, really good. It's really good. And yes, normally I would have chased that DX, but this is not about making calls. Otherwise, I would have. Everybody's higher up today.
You are.
And we have had some terrible RFI. We've had some very bad propagation lately, very rough. And it's been to the point where most of the bands have been fair to poor. I mean, really bad. There we go. I knew once I moved the VFO, we'd have people moving around, and there it is. Oh my goodness. I've never had such a weird day in my life chasing these signals. But I will tell you that my experience with this has been so positive. It's improved the sound of my radio. It has helped to make it a lot more pleasurable. And it's probably one of the best things I've purchased for my radio. It really is. See, once I move, there it goes. It's in one of those days. We'll just stay right here. He's going to talk for a while. Just made a couple of adjustments here. But none of them had to do with any noise reduction or any changes in terms of processing. So the Heil Parametric Receive Audio System, I think one of the most beautiful things about it, again, it's a set and forget system, but you don't forget you have it. Once you have this in line, you're in good shape. Now, hold on a second. So it seems to come up in gain. It's amazing. Just that bump from the parametric mid makes it come up. Just like that. There's somebody here. Hopefully they're going to keep talking.
November, W9BDN.
Put it back here.
Very good, Alex. Yeah, we worked the other day. In fact, I do have you on the streaming on the YouTube. That's pretty cool. You're 5 and 9. Good signal into Illinois this evening, Alex. Go ahead. Yeah, very good. Yeah, that's kind of cool the way you got that set up. Very good. Well,
We'll notch him out. Sorry. All right, that's good enough. I think we've shown what it'll do. I think what I can share with you, my observations, easy to use. I found it to be simple. Okay, really simple. And even though I have a background in broadcasting, it wasn't like I needed to use any of that information to make this video. It just was easy to use. Take it out of the box. It's already preset, and it tells you it's preset. You simply take it out. You hook it up as described. And by the way, they include, I think it was like a 5-foot audio cable cord that goes from your rig to wherever you want to place this thing. How brilliant was that? You know, on the 101, I can tell you one of the things that Yaesu did that I still scratch my head over is on the MP model like mine, the power supply is in the speaker. Well, it's only a 2-foot connecting cable, and that's not very practical. Heil did a great job on this. It's a long connecting cord between your speaker out and the EQ. It's brilliant. And you can put it pretty much anywhere within 5 feet. So it's nice. And then if you get the speaker, you'll be really pleased because instead of having so much of one of our viewers, Ward, I think it's W6WWV, says, what he says is it's like bacon frying noise. And that's true. It's like bacon frying noise. This will help to take away that noise. Heil Parametric Receive Audio System. Buy it at your local ham radio store, or I'll put the link below to Heil, and you can get the information from them. I truly highly recommend this thing, and I paid for it, but it's that special. If you don't have one or have never seen one, please ask your local retail to do a demo of one. You won't be disappointed you heard it because your radio will sound so good. Thanks for watching Ham Radio Live, show number 42. Until next time, God bless you guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon. Bye, everybody.